Hey, welcome to Midnight Signals Podcast. I'm Sergeant Steve Shenanigator here with Alien Mike. We're ready to talk all things that go bump in the night.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you tonight, man?
Doing all right. Can't complain.
Yeah, nobody listens to our complaints anyway.
That's true. Not like it does any good, but still fun to complain.
So, yeah, we want to start this podcast to talk about everything: aliens, UFOs, paranormal, anything that goes bump in the night.
Yep.
But we wanted to take this opportunity to introduce ourselves and let you guys know why we got involved in this. So, Mike, why don't you tell us why you got involved in this?
Oh, well, let's see. The first story I think I'd have to go with that kind of got me really involved in it was probably around 2008 or so. I used to do a lot of ghost hunting with a couple of buddies of mine. One of them who had never been. He, kind of wanted us to show him the ropes and see how things went. And so one day we had decided to go out to the Salt Lake Cemetery. Really big, really old cemetery. Apparently a lot of stuff that goes bump in the night. Well, we're sitting on a little retaining wall in the middle of the cemetery, and one of the guys who were training had asked, how to do EVPs. So we explained the process, talking to the recorder, wait a few seconds, ask your next question, keep going on. So he's gone for maybe 5 minutes, not that long, and he's about 30 feet away from us. So we can see him, and there's nobody else around. And all of a sudden, while me and my other friend are talking, this other guy starts screaming. We have no idea what the hell's going on. So he comes running back to us with a huge handprint right across the side of his face. And no explanation. We know the kid's not hitting himself because we're watching him. And shortly after that, he said, "I'm done," and made us take him home. And that was the last time we ever saw him. And we're like, well, we warned you. This is what's going to happen. There's that chance that, something's going to go on that'll scare you. And we never heard from him again. And that was kind of what really got me interested in the paranormal aspect.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I grew up, at a young age. Apparently, I lived in a very haunted house. I just heard the stories about it. But it got me somewhat interested in the paranormal. But then as I joined the military, I had a paranormal experience out in Hohenfels, Germany, where my buddy and I were out doing just training maneuvers, and we were out there in the middle of the forest, and we heard movement coming towards us. So we took up a defensive posture. We're ready to engage the enemy. But what we ended up seeing was two soldiers in World War II outfits walking through the woods. And they were translucent, but you could definitely tell that they were human. They were real to us. And they were World War II German soldiers walking through their woods. And we found out later that the area that we were training in was the training ground for the SS and for basically the Nazi soldiers preparing to take on Poland. This was before they even invaded Poland or anything else. Yes. So we don't know what we saw that night. We never told anybody what we saw. And I kept that story to myself for I don't know how many years before I finally told people about it.
Yep.
That's kind of where I came up with the paranormal idea and wanting to learn more about it.
Well, very cool. Very cool. So anything else that you're interested in that you've had experiences in?
Oh, I've had experiences in UFOs.
Oh, nice.
My wife was never a believer in the UFOs. I always believed that there was something else out there.
Right.
You can't have a universe as large as ours and we're the only life form out there. That's just my opinion. I know people are going to disagree with it. But my wife never believed in it until one night we were out in Georgia coming back from a boating trip on the Chattahoochee River.
Okay.
We're out in the middle of the Georgia woods. I know you grew up Georgia area, so you know how thick wood can get.
I know that area very well.
So we're on this little back highway leaving the campground, and we notice a red orb just above the tree line following us. And at first I thought, we're close to Fort Benning. It's probably just a helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
But then it started doing maneuvers that there's not a helicopter today, let alone back then, that could do these maneuvers. It was zigzagging across the trees. It was coming up on us, then falling back. And this thing was so bright that it was blinding us in the mirror.
Oh, wow.
And after that, even my wife had to admit that there's something else out there.
Yep. That's how I've always been. There's got to be something.
Oh, yeah. So have you ever had a UFO experience?
I have. I've had a couple, that have been interesting. The one that sticks out the most, because growing up, I was always really into the paranormal. I believed in UFOs and everything. I just didn't really care to research it or get really in depth with it. Until probably about 2016, end of 2015, 2016. I was out with a buddy one night, and we were just hanging out at his house, and it was approaching midnight, and we had to go to a neighbor's down the street to pick up his son. So we're driving down. It was 3500 South in West Valley City. I know you know the area. Going towards Magna, so kind of towards your old neck of the woods. And they were doing construction, so there's nobody out at this late, and most of the roads are shut down around the area. And as we're driving, just kind of BSing, we see something fly across our field of vision up in the sky, comes from right to left and stops middle of the sky and goes back the other direction. And so I slam on the brakes, wondering what the hell is this that's going on. And it does it 4, 5, 6 times, just keeps going back and forth, and then stops and shoots off straight up into the sky. And wow. That was it. And ever since then, it kind of set me on a path to there's definitely more out there than I had assumed or that absolutely. I thought. And this was at a time where, they had drones and stuff, but it wasn't as big as it is now. There was nothing that could have performed the maneuvers that it was doing, So that kind of got me thinking a lot more about it. And now that's kind of where my interest lies the most, is in UFOs, aliens. I will read or watch and devour everything I can on the subject.
I know you had told me that story before, mm-hmm. and I completely forgot about this, but when I lived in Utah, I had another friend that was at the Redwood Drive-In.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually said that there were many people at the drive-in that saw this, and it was a fairly large triangular-shaped craft that flew over the drive-in movie theater.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go on.
They told me that, excuse me, they actually remember they shut the movies off because everybody was seeing this craft flying over. And then as it flew closer to the mall that's out there, it just vanished. It didn't take off really fast. It just vanished.
Wow.
And I had forgotten about that story until you told me yours the other day.
Yeah. That's an interesting point, because growing up, I had friends that constantly went there. I never did. I don't think I've ever been to the Redwood Theater. And I have heard from quite a few different people about things that have happened out there. But back then, I was just like, okay, whatever. Not that I didn't believe them. I just didn't care enough to go into it anymore. I was just like, whatever. But I had heard stories that stuff had happened over there.
Yeah, I don't know why I forgot about that, because I was really intrigued when she told me that story. I'm going to have to reach out to her and see if she's willing to come talk about it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. But I've told you a ghost story and I've told you a UFO story, but I do have another ghost story for you real quick.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
It's from your neck of the woods. Well, a little bit south.
Okay.
The Frisco Ghost Town down south of Salt Lake. My wife and I, my brother, and I think that was it. My daughter came with us. We all went down there to explore this ghost town, and we were going to go camping in the ghost town itself. And for anybody that's been to Frisco, it was an old silver mine that at the time, this was the most violent town in the West.
Mm-hmm.
They had murders every night in this town. And they'd also mined this mountain so much that on one night, the mountain just caved in on itself. And if you go out there today, you'll see like 3 or 4 levels of caves going into what's left of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So we're out there camping. We'd explored a little bit before we set up our camp, and we'd gone to bed. I heard movement around our camp that night, like somebody just walking around our camp. So of course, you know, being the big bold guy I am, I grabbed the nearest weapon I had, which was a hammer. And yes, my family still gives me crap about that today. And I go out to find out. Sorry, I hear my wife laughing at me downstairs.
Yep.
So I go out to find out what's going on. And if I remember right, my brother also got up. But when I first got up, I'm thinking, okay, it was a bad dream. I'm just hearing things because there's nothing out here. And my brother comes out and he's like, you heard that too, right? So now we're really checking things out. And off in the distance, over by the mine, is a campfire. So we figured, all right, we're just going to go ahead and, assume that there's another set of campers out here doing the same thing we're doing, enjoying the evening out in the middle of nowhere. We go back to bed. Wake up the next morning, and we were up early. We'd gone to bed early, so we're up early, ready to go explore. There's no campers over there. So we walk over to where they were. There was no campfire there. There was no markings of any vehicle pulling in. There was no evidence of anybody being there. We go back to where my tent was set up. And like I said, we'd explored the area already. But when we went back, stuck in the tree was a pair of old barber shears from way back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. You could tell it wasn't the rivets we use today. It was, you could definitely tell it was a set of old barber shears just stuck in the tree next to our tent.
Wow.
My daughter kept those for a while, and she brought them home, and they were with her when she moved out into her first apartment. And if I remember right, she got rid of them when she moved from her first apartment to her house in Magna. And they ended up in the Magna house. And when she made the move out to the East Coast, she threw them away again. I remember her throwing them in the dumpster when I was helping her pack up to move out here.
And let me guess.
Recently, we told that she has those scissors in her house in Maine.
Something is following her.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't want her to not have those. So that is really interesting because I'm sure I've told you this story. So shortly after I had moved back from Georgia, so end of 2001, I had went camping. I was supposed to go camping with 2 other buddies, and I went with just one of them. And this was, I believe, Thanksgiving night. And I feel bad because we kind of ditched one because he was busy with family stuff, and we said, to hell with it, we're going, which turned out to be a really bad decision. We got out towards, we call it the Pet Cemetery. I'm sure you know where the Pet Cemetery is, out by Twill.
Yep.
Yeah. And for some reason, we always went camping there, and I don't know why. And so I remember this night we had gotten there. We set up our tent, me and my buddy, and we drive around for, an hour or two. We're hiking around, driving around. There's nobody out here. It's cold for one, and it's Thanksgiving, so people aren't out. And, we're having a good time. and we decide to go to bed. So we're laying in the tent, and all of a sudden you can hear people laughing, and we think, okay, somebody else has obviously come up. And we hop out with flashlights. Nobody's there. Like, okay. So we try to go back to bed, and this time you can hear young adults, maybe teenagers, running around our tent and hitting stuff. And by then we both jump out again, and let's just say we don't have hammers.
You always have to travel with a hammer.
Yeah, it's not hammers we have. It's something else. And so we jump out. You know, we had hollered first, and it doesn't stop. And we jump out. Nobody's there. So we think we're just losing our minds. Go back to bed, and then it starts like shaking the tent, rubbing the tent, throwing stuff at the tent. No idea what's going on. So we get out again for the third, fourth time and start driving around. There is nobody out there for miles. And we kind of looked at each other and said, nope, I'm not staying here. And we didn't pack things up. We threw it in the car as fast as we could, and we left. Still to this day, don't know what it was. It's still a horrible experience. Looking back, I mean, it was a good experience, but it was funny now, but back then it sucked.
So, yeah, I've been out in that area quite a few times, and I've always gone out there thinking, all right, I'm going to go to some of these places and do a ghost hunt.
Yep.
But then there's just that feeling when you get out in some of those places, you're like, nope, something doesn't want me here.
Yeah, I mean, I can never explain it. I talk to the guy still, and I ask him about it every once in a while, and he just looks at me and goes, nope, nope. He won't even talk about it. He's just like, fuck that.
So one of the comments we just had because of my dogs, the hellhounds say you should always have a hammer.
Yeah, I'm going to start carrying one now.
Yeah, you have to have one. It's mandatory.
Yep. Screw a pistol. Hammer's the way to go.
So, but yeah, I know you're more interested in the UFOs.
Right.
And I'm more interested in the paranormal. But it's funny because I've had more UFO experiences than I've had paranormal. And I think you're just the opposite, aren't you?
Yes, I'm 100% the opposite. I've had so many different paranormal experiences over the years that I don't know if that's the reason I kind of got more into UFOs, because I wanted to experience more of that or learn more about it. But I just have had so many paranormal things that it's just kind of commonplace now.
Okay.
So
I definitely, with Pine Bush out here in New York, we need to get you back out here, and we need to go out on a UFO hunt out at Pine Bush.
Oh yeah, well, Storm and Renee,
Hudson Valley is just incredible right now.
Yeah, well, Storm and Renee had told me a couple years ago that they started talking about Pine Bush, and I had no idea what they were talking about. And then he just said, "Look it up," and so I started like looking into it, and I was really impressed with what goes on out there, and so I definitely want to get out there.
Oh, definitely. I got to get back to Utah and do some more paranormal back out there in the desert with you.
Yeah.
That and maybe some hammer tossing.
Hammer tossing? There we go.
Well, maybe we'll go out with the stuff you were carrying and not the hammers.
We can always take both. I mean,
that works.
I've got plenty of everything.
So but I know your neck of the woods out there, especially northeast Utah, Skinwalker Ranch. That's really getting to be a big spot right now with the Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch show.
Yep.
Don't know how I feel about that, but I did actually have a UFO experience out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey,
back when I was driving truck. We were on the way from Colorado into Salt Lake. There was me and two other drivers. It was late at night. I think we were the only ones on the road. We're just talking on the CB radio, having a good time. And all of a sudden, we just saw the brightest light shoot straight up from the mesa out there. Mm-hmm. And there is no way that I don't even think this could have been a rocket. It was traveling faster than anything I've seen NASA launch.
Right.
And after that, we were silent for about 30 minutes. Nobody was talking on the radio. We're just continuing driving down the road, and finally I get on the radio and I ask one of the buddy behind me, I said, was I seeing things or did you see that? He said, I saw that and I don't ever want to see that again, and we're not going to talk about it anymore.
And that's the end of it.
That was the end of it.
Yep.
So yes, my daughter just sent a message. Those scissors are in a box on her desk.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
I'm trying to type in here and it won't let me type on that. I don't know why.
We'll have to figure that out. Yeah. So yeah, we're still working the bugs out on all this, so you guys have to bear with us. But
yeah, we'll get it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the whole Skinwalker thing. I've read the book, and I've read it many times, and loved the book. When Bigelow owned it, I liked what he did out there. I liked the way he did things. This new real estate tycoon guy that I don't know what his name is, the guy from the new show. There's something about him that just irritates the fuck out of me.
Yeah, I'm with you on him. The scientists he has out there and the crew he has out there, I like those guys.
Yeah,
but yeah, the guy that owns Travis,
Dr. Yes,
Travis Taylor.
Yeah,
I like Travis Taylor when he was doing his guest spots on Ancient Aliens and a few other shows that he was in.
Yeah, he was really, really good. I really liked watching him. It was, I mean, I get the idea behind you're trying to do scientific studies. You want to keep people out, but you have all these security guards that are walking around thinking they're from Blackwater. And it's like, dude, come on. You know, you just look like a moron to me. But the show itself wasn't that bad.
Oh, we just had another comment that we need a field trip to Pine Bush, and my brother remembers Frisco very well.
Oh, there we go. Now I can see the comments. Must have missed that one.
So I definitely think I'd love to get a whole group of the people out here at the Witchcraft District and take a trip out to Pine Bush. The Witchcraft District invades Pine Bush, and we go out looking for UFOs and paranormal.
How far is Pine Bush from Polk?
It's not very far. It's only like, I believe, about 20 some odd miles.
Oh, that's not bad.
No,
so I'm sure I've probably been by there at some point.
I think we have been close to it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we've actually been by it. Once you're off the freeway, you still have to go up the road a little bit. But yeah.
Oh, it's off the freeway?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like you get off the exit and you're there.
Okay. Yeah, then I haven't.
They put on a heck of an alien UFO convention every year that I'm definitely going to go to.
Yeah, I saw that after Storm had said something about it, and I can't remember when it was they did it usually. Do you remember by chance?
It's in June.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got to get you out here to go to that one. And then I'd love to come back and go to Paracon back there in Vernal with you.
Yeah, that's one thing
that up really good.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I'm, of course, invited every year being a member of MUFON, but I never go out, and I should. So you are a member of MUFON. I forgot about that. Yep.
So what do you do at MUFON? What does MUFON do?
MUFON, it stands for the Mutual UFO Network, and there's a lot of different things they do. From, they have seminars where they talk about, different experiences people have. Sorry, I was reading the comment there. Each state has its own MUFON director, and then they have their own assistant director, and every so often they get together and do some group meetings in some part of the country where they discuss different things that have gone on and different cases, how they're going to go about it, things like that. Then they have field investigators, which I haven't done yet, but I've been working towards, where when they go out, the people in your state, they'll go out and do investigations, and they have you there leading it.
Okay. So are they anything like SETI or associated with SETI at all?
I'm not sure, to be honest, if they're associated with SETI or not. But so if you remember that app that I told you to download, Enigma.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So
if anybody listening, I highly recommend getting Enigma. Great
Yes.
videos on there.
Oh yeah, videos, pictures, story. I mean, everything. So MUFON does the same thing where you can go to their page and put in where you're from, what you do, and what you found. You know, how you give all the details of any experience that you've got,
Okay.
and then they'll have links for different stories, or you can read articles about stuff that from the beginning of MUFON or the beginning of the very first UFO recorded, stuff like that.
So we do have a question from Jay. Any Squatch sightings that you know of in Utah?
Honestly, no, because I don't follow that.
But we're going to talk about it, though, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll talk about it for sure. I have never honestly been a believer in Sasquatch or Bigfoot or however you want to call it. I've heard a lot of really cool theories about it, but it's just never been something that's been really interesting to me. But that could change.
I'm not a big believer in Squatch either, but an article I just read recently has me intrigued.
Which one is that?
It's I can't remember where it's from. I'm gonna have to look it up. I wasn't even going to bring it up this time, but since Jay asked the question, this article actually said that the reason we can't find more evidence is because they may also be the aliens. They may be from the UFOs. And tying the two together, now I got intrigued.
Yeah, and see, that was the only real theory that I actually thought was interesting, and I don't know where I heard it from, but I think it was on a different podcast somewhere where they said that the reason you don't see more sightings of Bigfoot is they say that, like you said, they're aliens, but whenever you see a UFO come in, what they're doing, the Bigfoot are technically prisoners, so they're sent here for jail, essentially. So the UFOs come in, drop them off, and when you see a UFO again in that same spot, they're coming to pick them up.
That's even more intriguing now.
Yeah, and so that I was like, okay, well, not that I know much about it or can get behind it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, when we first started talking about this, I wasn't going to do any cryptids at all. Mm-hmm. I thought just the UFO and the ghosts. But then I started hearing more and more stories, not just in New Jersey, but all up and down the Hudson River of the Jersey Devil.
Oh, all the way up and down the Hudson?
Yeah, they've had sightings out here in Poughkeepsie, just across the river.
Oh, I had no clue about that.
And then I started researching a little more, and the Catskills have sightings of Sasquatch.
Really?
So
I've got books on cryptids, and there's some that are really, really interesting, that I've read about, and not that I'm a huge, big into it, but I would definitely like to talk about it.
Okay. We'll definitely do some research on this stuff. Yeah. But speaking of research, I know we've talked about this in the past. We don't want to come on and try and convince everybody that all this is real.
Right. We got to make up your own mind.
Yeah, make up your own mind. And when we get stories and we're talking about it, if we can prove that it's a hoax, that's going to be the highlight of our story, is proving that it's not real. We kind of want to come into this with the TAPS idea.
Yeah,
where
try to debunk everything
to see if we can debunk it, great. If not, now we need to investigate.
Right, and that's just kind of that's why I honestly don't watch a lot of paranormal shows anymore, is because it's everybody going into it 100% believing in it. Sorry, I just read your wife's comment.
Yep. Yeah, actually, we just got a comment about spending time up in the Catskills in the summer being a magical place.
It's
I
saw some
agree with that.
pictures.
Yeah, as a
That's-
matter of fact, one of our upcoming episodes soon is going to be about the Catskill crone.
Yeah, and that's I still need to look into that more, but from what I've seen and read, that's really interesting.
But yeah,
But yep.
I started looking at the Catskill crone, and I started finding more and more stories about the Catskills and even the other mountain ranges out here. There's
Yep.
some very interesting stuff in New York.
Yeah, I knew stuff went on all over the states, but I really didn't believe New York was as big of a hotspot as it is.
I didn't either. I mean, I knew with the older homes and the older villages and cities out here,
Yeah,
that there's probably going to be some hauntings, but I never expected it to be a hotspot of UFO, a hotspot of Sasquatch sightings.
yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. Are we going to talk about the Bell Witch? What do you think?
I think we can. I don't really remember much about it, so I'm 100% down for it. In fact, I'll write that down
Yeah.
as something. Let me pull this up.
So yeah, you guys have ideas for anything? Let us know. We'll check it out. We'll make a show out of it.
Yeah, hit us up on the Facebook or Instagram, or
We've got an email too, don't we?
yeah, we do. Midnight Signal Podcast at Gmail. And I think most of the people in here right now have both of our numbers.
Yeah, I believe so.
So if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, okay, let me pull this up real quick.
So yeah, I think we're going to give the Bell Witch a try. I've heard some things. I've seen some documentaries on it.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I just started investigating ley lines recently, and that Occult America, that looks interesting. I think I'm going to try that.
Okay. Let me pull this up now again. Occult America by Mitch Horowitz.
So, but you brought up Robert Bigelow at the beginning.
Right.
I really think we need to do a show on Bob Bigelow, and I mean, just if not Skinwalker Ranch, at least what NIDS was doing.
Yeah,
I thought they were just a defense contractor, but some of the stuff I've been reading, that they were way beyond defense contractor.
Oh yeah, he didn't come out and talk about a lot of stuff for quite a while, and I think until after people found out he owned Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah,
and what he was doing there, and then they kind of put together what he was doing.
So I've actually since we were talking about Skinwalker Ranch before we started this, I started looking up Bigelow, and I started looking at Freedom of Information Act requests that people were putting in to the CIA. And it's the typical answer that they're getting. We can neither confirm nor deny.
Yep.
And whether that's a standard answer, not meant to be anything, that gets you interested. You have to go investigate more.
It's definitely a standard answer, and that's, I don't know, like every election that comes out, when whoever runs, they always say they're going to release all the information they have, that of stuff NASA's found, of Area 51, stuff like that. I don't care who it is. All I want is that information. And every time somebody gets in, nobody releases it. And I'm waiting for the day it happens.
A while ago, there was an interview with, it must have been a long while ago because it was in the Art Bell era. I'm a huge fan of Art Bell. I don't know about you.
Oh, I love Art Bell.
But they were talking about the UFO phenomenon, and the question was, why doesn't the government tell us about it? And the answer back then was because they don't want to create mass panic but I think that's slowly changing with, the release of the Tic Tac video and
Yep.
some other videos that the Defense Department and the Navy saying, hey, we don't know what it is, but it's not from here.
Yeah. And
so I think they're getting to a point where, it may come out in the next couple of years, the next couple of election cycles, where they're going to start releasing all of the information that they've been studying since way back at the Roswell crash, and probably even before that.
And I hope it comes, and I hope it comes soon. I mean, I was glad when they did the two press conferences about the first one about the Tic Tac, where they had David Grush on and everybody from the Nimitz talking about it. And then they came out on the second one and they were talking about, instead of, most of the UFOs coming from up, they're coming from down in the water.
Yep.
And the fact that they're actually talking about that and doing, big government press conferences, that's at least a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
So if you want a good book to read that talks about all that stuff, read there it is right there, Imminent by Lou Elizondo. I was recommended and gifted that book, and it is easily one of the best books I have ever read on the subject.
Okay. I'm going to check that out. Let me write that down real quick. My handy dandy note. Thanks.
I can't type. Serena, can you type that in? I wish we got to figure out why I can't type anything. I'm wondering if we can both be signed into this to type it.
Well, I will reach out to our overseas buddy and see if he's got an answer for me.
That would be awesome. Yep, there we go.
Are we going to have reading homework before the next episode? Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Graded. So it's a 95% to pass in this course.
Mm-hmm.
So before I forget, if you guys are interested in any of this stuff, please don't hesitate to get down there, like, subscribe, check us out. We're going to be dropping episodes every Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
Sorry, got that out of the way now. Didn't forget this time.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody did. Yeah, I mean, I know we've got the next few episodes of what we're going to talk about down, but I think a big thing is, everybody that watches getting their opinion on what they want to hear about.
Oh, yeah.
So if we can get messages, or even in the middle of a conversation about this, people are talking about other stuff, that's great, because now we know what we can look forward to talking about. And
it's not just going to be us two weirdos on here talking. We've got some guests lined up too. We got some interesting guests that are going to be coming on.
Yep. I'm not sure who all you have. I've got the head of Utah, MUFON, that said he would be willing to come on. The guy in charge of Utah UFO Hunters that said he'd love to come on. And then I'm sure a few people here know Carl from Sweden.
Weirdos. We're all weirdos. Yes, we are.
100%.
Weirdos are the new norm.
That's right. I remember, it's funny you say that, because I remember back in the day when people would talk about UFOs, nobody would say anything.
No.
They're just like, whatever. They just kind of blow it off. Yes. Okay, she just wrote it that. Thank you, Serena. But now I'm glad that it's more widely talked about and widely accepted. Because for years, paranormal stuff has been talked about and has been people are pretty open about it. And you don't get judged as much saying, yeah, I believe in ghosts or I believe in that. But if you tell somebody that you believe in UFOs and aliens, all of a sudden they think you wear a tinfoil hat.
Yeah, that's definitely changing, because more and more people are becoming believers. I've had non-believers here that have seen blue lights in a triangle shape or a circle shape gliding down the Hudson River. And they've taken
Wow.
some pictures of these. They don't know what it is. So I think now, if more people at night would walk around looking up at the skies or checking out their surroundings in old houses and have their camera ready rather than texting all the time, we'd have a lot more videos and photos of this stuff.
I agree.
You know,
See, yep, Serena. Yeah, he said he wants to come on and talk about. Oh, now I can't even think about it. There's a show that I think is on Amazon Prime called UFO Sweden, but it talks about a big, huge UFO that crashed into one of the lakes there and how they're trying to, I guess, uncover the truth about it. And it's based on something that has really happened over there. So he wants to speak about that.
yeah. I know it's not just going to be a focus of UFOs. We got some paranormal people that want to come on here. I can't mention anything because we haven't confirmed 100% yet.
Right.
But you know who I'm talking about.
I 100% do.
So if we can get these guys on, get them committed to a day, I'm just going to sit back and let them talk.
Exactly. That's what I would do.
Yep.
There's certain people that I can just sit back and I can listen to for hours and I don't have to say a single word.
Absolutely. So what are we going to be doing next?
Next, isn't that... Let me see here. I thought I had it written down. I thought next was going to be the Catskill Crone, wasn't it?
I think you're right. I had it written down somewhere, but
yeah, I've got so many
organizational skills are superb.
What are organizational skills? I write shit down in one book and then I don't know where I put it, and so I write it in another notebook and then 5 different files on my computer.
You got my organizational skills, man. Together we might be able to fill one drawer of a filing cabinet, but not know where anything is.
Exactly.
Perfect.
But yeah, I think so, and I still need to watch the rest of that documentary you had suggested on it. I can't remember what it was called now.
If anybody wants to watch it, it's you can find it on Tubi. It's free. It's called The Unbinding.
Yes, that's the name of it.
And while some of it was embellished, there's some actual footage in there of some weird things that this little figure did.
Cool.
So yeah, get a chance, check out The Unbinding.
Yeah, I'll definitely have that. Yep,
The Unbinding. You can get it on Amazon to rent, or you can get it on Tubi for free.
Yep.
But the guys that did that documentary, I'm fascinated with what they've got because they have a traveling haunted museum.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And they've got some pretty interesting items.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I literally got like 2 minutes into it and then I had stuff I had to do, so I couldn't finish watching it.
Life always gets in our way.
Yep. Just like this technical difficulty that someone was saying was on your end, and someone forgot he had a microphone button on his computer.
At least we figured it out before we had to announce that we're postponing.
Yeah, you have no idea like how stressed I was getting about that because I could not figure out what was going. And honestly, you're not the first person I've done that to. Because of I sit and play WoW, in my free time, so I'm always hitting all those buttons. And you have a function lock key on my computer, so I can hit those buttons without setting off any of whatever they're meant for. And then I turn it on and off, and yeah.
Yep, I actually just started looking at the buttons up there, and yeah, I can imagine it'd be pretty easy to turn those off and not know it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had them. There's one you wouldn't even know what it was, but the trackpad on my laptop, it makes it so it doesn't work. It locks it. So I haven't had my mouse before, and I thought my computer was broken because that button was pushed, and I couldn't do anything.
So, So we're doing the Catskill Crone next.
Yep.
And then I think we need to travel west. So what do you think we should do over on your end of the country?
There was a couple of suggestions that I did have. One, of course, being Skinwalker because it's here in Utah. The other that I've always been kind of interested in is the Battle of Los Angeles from, I believe, the 40s in LA.
Oh, definitely. Okay. So we'll do the Catskill Crone next, and then the Battle of Los Angeles after that. Yep. That is an amazing story.
It is. It was in what the late 40s.
It was right after the bombing of Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, so mid to late 40s.
Yep. And I know people have tried to disprove it and debunk it, but there was something that happened in that battle.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I've seen so much on people that try to Yep, Sue says yes, do the Battle of LA. So we'll do that. I've seen so many things, that they try to disprove it and they can't. They try to say people just saw stuff and they can't. It's definitely interesting. So I think that'll touch on both coasts right there.
Oh, and then right after that we'll do our good friend Bob Bigelow.
Okay, that works.
I mean, NIDS and his other defense contracts. Hard to believe that this guy started out building. He started out his entire corporation by building economy extended stay hotels.
Yep.
And then became a huge defense contractor specializing in UFOs, the paranormal. Yep. I know he was interested in Bradshaw Ranch. I don't know if he purchased it or not, but he also owns Skinwalker Ranch.
Yep.
And both of those.
Wasn't there 3 that he owned, or what? Two or 3? I know Bradshaw, then Skinwalker, and then there was something else.
I kept hearing rumors of one up near Oregon, but I haven't been able to confirm that yet. I'm still researching, and a lot of what you find on the internet is still fairly vague. One side will say he owned this ranch out here, or he owned a ranch down in Arizona. The next is like, nope, he didn't own any of that. Wasn't even interested in it.
Yeah.
So I know I've heard that he owned Bradshaw, but then I've also heard he was interested in Bradshaw, did some testing there, but he didn't own it.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we can find out more in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Oh, sorry, not Oregon, Nevada. He owned one in Nevada.
Nevada.
Yeah, somewhere out near Area 51, which has nothing to do with UFOs at all.
Really? I'm going to have to definitely look into that.
I've never heard of this Area 51.
What is that?
I don't know. It doesn't exist.
Nope.
The camo dudes will tell you that.
Yeah. the guy that earlier when I was talking about at the Salt Lake Cemetery, the guy I did everything with, he used to go out to Skinwalker and Area 51 quite a bit. And he said, you can go up on the ridges at Skinwalker and you can see right down into it. And you're pretty much left alone until you get to a certain point. He said they tried to just drive next to Area 51 and people in trucks and guns, like you can't get anywhere near it.
Camo dudes don't play around.
No, they don't.
Those white SUVs just appear out of nowhere, and the next thing you know, you're surrounded.
Yeah, it's so. Whenever I hear people talk of them like that, it's probably my favorite alien-related show. It's called Area 51, and it's about a group of kids that sneak into it and what happens when they do, and you see the undercovers and then the camo guys and like how they act, and apparently it's based on how it really is when you get near it.
I believe it.
All the sensors and everything.
I don't know if you remember the episode, but I actually heard it live when the pilot out of Las Vegas decided he was going to fly over Area 51. And while he was on the air with Art Bell, he disappeared.
Yep.
And I don't think he's ever resurfaced anywhere.
I haven't heard anything about him since.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that, and maybe we'll do a show just on that.
I think an Art Bell show would be awesome.
Oh yeah, right. That's kind of where I get all my research to begin with. I started Art Bell and work out from there.
Yep. There was one episode that I can't remember who it was or what. Apparently, the guy worked at Area 51, and he had called into Art Bell, and he was just frantic, panicking. And he goes, "Well, I'll have to call you back." And he just hung up on everybody. And I'm not sure. I heard he did call back, but then the line went dead. But he was like actively running from something or someone.
Yeah, I remember that show as well.
Yeah.
You know, being a truck driver, I got to listen to Art Bell constantly. That kept me up for about 3 hours running cross country.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ghost to Ghost was definitely my favorite too.
Yeah, there's on the podcast player I use, there's the Art Bell Vault is what it's called, something like that. But it's all his original stuff, from the very beginning up until I think early or late 90s or something. It was all his original stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing better than listening to him. But Serena mentioned Ghost to Ghost being the favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite, it's not even a ghost story. It's a ghost to ghost story. I was driving truck and I was going to stay up until 3 a.m. listening to Ghost. And then I was going to go to bed for the night. And where I ended up at 3 a.m., I ended up stopping in West Yellowstone, just in a little pullout along the highway. And I know for a fact everything was my mind, because I laid down in the sleeper to get some sleep, and every ghost story is going through my mind. And all of a sudden, my truck started shaking. Just shaking worse than ever before. You knew it wasn't the wind.
Right.
So thanks to Ghost, I'm thinking, all right, I'm being attacked by the paranormal right now.
Yep.
So again, being the brave guy I am, I grabbed my tire thumper hammer and I jumped up and I looked out, and there was a damn buffalo scratching his back on my hood.
Oh Lord.
I couldn't sleep the rest of the night.
Yeah, it would scare the shit out of me. I've had encounters with wildlife like that. Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah. I mean, there was some strange things that happened out there, and maybe I'll bring some of those up in later episodes, but there was some strange things that happened through West Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And
I've heard there's a lot up there.
You'd think it was UFO, but a lot of it ended up being paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to go back and put a few stories together of some of the things that happened at 2-3 in the morning running across the highway by myself in the middle of nowhere, Yellowstone.
That would be cool. Okay, do you remember that team of people who would come on with the EVPs? I assume on the Art Bell show?
I can't remember who they were, but I do remember them coming on. And I liked them, except that they would tell you what you were hearing. At the beginning, they would tell you what they were hearing.
Yeah.
So you automatically started hearing that.
Yeah, you hear
what later on, I think Art Bell talked to him and said, no, let these guys figure it out first.
Right.
And that's when I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, EVPs I wish I still had it. Back, it was the same incidents I was talking about at the cemetery where the guy was asking all these questions, and I believe I told you, we took him home, dropped him off, and we decided to go listen to it. And he would ask a question, and you could hear something yell at him to shut up. And it was, a deep, more masculine voice, and it did not sound happy at all. And me and my buddy kind of looked at each other and thought, do we tell this guy what we have? Do we show him? Nope. We don't, because just from the experience he had, it really did a number on him mentally.
Wow.
I can't.
Well, that's Salt Lake City Cemetery to begin with.
Yeah.
That's even during daylight. That's a weird cemetery.
Yeah, I love it. I've heard over the years that the Ogden one is a lot more haunted, but we spent a lot of time up there, and we never saw or experienced anything other than other people coming up there.
So my brother just posted that as kids we may have all had a Bigfoot encounter, and I completely forgot about this. And my dad tried his best to calm us down, but I've never seen him as shaken as he was that night.
Really, where at?
We were up at Joe's Valley Reservoir, and we decided to go up even higher to, I don't know the official name of it. I think it's Grassy Lake or something. We just called it Beaver Dam. Just a small, tiny little lake. And when we go up there, usually we were the only trailer on the entire lake. So we had the whole thing to ourselves. And we'd all gone to bed. You know, think about how comfortable this is. It was 6 kids and my parents in a small tow trailer. So we were all cramped in there.
Oh yeah.
But still having the time of our lives. This was the highlight of our summer, was going up and going camping with the parents. But this night, something was rocking our trailer bad. And I have to get with my dad and have him remind me the whole story. But it just kept rocking it, and not gentle rocking. It was like we were going to get pushed over.
Wow.
And he got up, and I don't think he ran outside to check on anything. I think he was too shaken. But the next day he's telling us it was just cows. It was just cows up here, no big deal. But there were no cow prints anywhere to be found.
Wow.
Hey, Dave, if you get a chance, did I get that right? I remember there was more to that story. So, but I do remember that even when he talked about it later on, he started saying that it was not cows.
Yeah, when you have experiences like that out in the wilderness, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah. My dad said he was too shook to go out and check it out. And I mean, my dad grew up hunting out in those mountains, and
Yep.
he didn't want to go outside of the trailer.
Yeah, and I know your dad, and he doesn't seem like the type that would, if something happened, he would not want to go check it out.
No.
Like, so if he was shook up, it was something.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And this place, I mean, if we were to have had to leave immediately, it was a good, I don't know, 45 minutes back down to anything resembling civilization.
Yeah. So then, I mean, I've had to pack up at night, when stuff happens, and it's not exactly easy. It's hard to pack up and just get out of there. So.
Oh yeah. I completely forgot about that. Thank you, David.
That's really cool. I mean, like I said, I've always personally thought the whole Bigfoot thing was silly. I know many people that wholeheartedly believe in it, and that's fine. But there are a lot of interesting stories that I've heard about it that, are cool. It's cool to hear stuff like that. And I enjoy watching the shows and the documentaries on it, but I don't know.
So,
yeah.
Well,
cool.
I think we've pretty much run out of things to talk about today. We've pretty much introduced ourselves and how weird we are.
So I'm definitely weird. If everybody here knows who I am, I'm very weird.
I wouldn't have it any other way, brother.
There you go.
So, so stay tuned for our next episode next Friday at 6 p.m., where we're going to discuss the Catskill crone in as much detail as we can.
Yep.
But in the meantime, if you get a chance, head on out and check out The Unbinding on Tubi.
Yep. I
So,
know
until
I
next
will.
Friday, till next Friday, it's Sergeant Shenanigator and Alien Mike. You guys have a good night.